What's going on, everybody? How you doing? And welcome. My name is Lord PeteyTV. You have come and found us. We're going to be talking about our Muggsy heroic kill, which we did in our community raid this week. So let's kind of dive into it. I'm going to go and I'm going to give you a little commentary of what we ended up doing, how we ended up talking about the whole situation as we go through the process. So thank you very much, and check us out. So one of the main things I made sure I ended up doing here on these polls is I wanted to make sure that we were consistently talking and communicating on almost all the polls and on what's happening. Now, we've done this fight so many times at this point where I think that we have a little bit of work to work with, but at least we were able to get it down. Throughout this whole time, I tried to explain to put the imprisons on the left and the right of the boss. They clearly did not do that. I don't know if it was because of distance or what, but it kind of worked out to our benefit. As you can see here, the imprisons are in place. We end up DPSing them down. One got destroyed really quickly. The second one took a little bit longer, but we were able to make it through. We end up breaking the walls of the imprisons, going away from the boss to produce almost like these coned shields for the frost spears. So here we have our two DPS who happen to be both paladins, going behind the shields and waiting for the ice to be sent. At that point, we have the frontal being cast on one of our players. We don't let them move. Everybody else moves away from them. We end up continuing to DPS here, and we kind of continue to move. Now, after that, we proceed to take care of a mine. We usually break them pretty fluidly. We have the melee killing the one shocker there, and all of the range kind of turn and go after the other one. Some melee do go after it, so we end up DPSing that one down real quick. And then from here, we have the mines that are spawning up. We try to make sure we don't overlap the bombs. And I ended up doing that on because wasn't paying attention. Then we're continuing to DPS while this happens. Now, when we get the first missile, we end up putting it towards the door. We let the missile drop. People soak that from the group one. And then from there, we go after the boss. Now, we have the tank soak that's occurring, that beam. And then after that, we're going to end up having that person step away from the group, and we're going to continue to DPS. Now, I got the frontal here, so I'm just going to sit there and take the frontal from this point. And we're trying to make sure when we're DPSing Muggsy that we're keeping them together. Right before every time he gets full energy, so we swap sides. And we're going to keep moving here little by little. So at this point, we're kind of just trying to place the imprisons again here to the left and the right of the boss. This way, they're kind of often tucked to the side. We have as many people as we possibly can go into those groups. Some of them, you can be seed, some of them you cannot. And then we end up DPSing down here. We kind of break now towards the outside. And now this prison here is where we lust. And then we try to put as much DPS on the boss as possible. The reason for this is that we really want to push him into the next phase. That way we don't have to deal with another set of bombs and another set of sides and all of the mines and all that other stuff. So we end up just pushing the DPS now here, which is a little earlier than normal lust. And then we're going to continue to push through. Now, the biggest push here is we're trying to bait the boss to be a little bit more on the other side where there's nothing around. So we're going to continue to do that. And here's our third charge. And we're trying to work through this here. Now, we end up having another AoE going around there, which is really annoying. And then we ended up losing some DPS there. And we're continuing to try to AoE as best as we can. And now we only take one mine out. We absorb that. The other mines we try to keep them up so that the ice bolts take those now. So the frost boots kind of aim for it. They end up going for the same, which is perfectly fine. And then we end up having the imprisons. We just let the mine I hit the mine here, which is a bad move for me because we really didn't have anybody available to heal me or anything like that. So I ended up having a lot of damage. Now here is the soak. We try to put that close to the other group. We try to use barriers and AMZs and all those other things. We try to break those apart there. And we're going to end up continuing to DPS. When this happened, we ended up having a tank loss there. So we ended up having 10 seconds after that. So we figured we'll do that. All the range is taken care of the rocket person here. And now we're taking the frontal. Now, really didn't have anywhere to go because it was taking a big cone for myself, killed myself, another tank, and it also took out one of our healers. So we ended up getting another res here. So we ended up going to res another tank. So we end up resing the other tank while this is going on. And we're trying to DPS him down. Now, he is almost literally dead, and we're trying to continue to do the process. So at this point, all these mines are going to spawn up. So we group on one side, and we move to the other side accordingly, as you can see here. And what we end up doing is we end up putting slows and all this other stuff down. And here we got the frosts. The frost is what we use to kind of freeze as many mines as possible and do whatever we need to do. We don't need to kill those mines. And then the boss dies. Thank you for checking out our video for our Mugsy community kill. I appreciate you all. Make sure you hit that subscribe button or your join button or follow button, whichever you prefer, whichever type of platform you're looking at us on. So thank you again. Have a fantastic day. If you have any questions or any comments, by all means, you can say something below. All right, thanks. Talk to you all soon. Bye, everybody.